Good morning, fans of the new network. It is James Ernest from Sarah's Playlist. Joining us today is Phil Bonk. He is the guitarist of Heroes and Horror. Phil, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. We're excited about having you on. We're wanting to learn all about you and your band. We want to start with learning about how you learned to play guitar.
Oh God. I started, when I was a teenager. I had friends that were taking guitar lessons, and I was actually learning the drums at the time. And I learned guitar alongside playing the drums until I moved around a little bit as a teenager, and then ended up in a duplex with my mom and sister, and really wasn't conducive to playing drums anymore. So I just kind of kept continuing to play guitar.
Nice. So, do you still dabble with the drums, or is it all guitar now?
It's mostly all guitar now. I'm really rusty on the drums, but like I know the mechanics and can explain things
Hmm.
like drumming wise to, drummers if I'm like hearing something and, say, oh, try something like this.
Oh, cool. So it helps you to communicate with other musicians better.
Indeed, yeah.
So it sounds like a valuable experience. Excellent.
Yeah, not bad. It definitely makes explaining things a lot easier musically.
Excellent. Speaking of musically, who are some of your musical influences?
Oh man, I have a ton. I listen to pretty much everything under the sun, other than a lot of like the pop country. So I draw a lot of I would say musical writing from like your average like pop style song,
Mhm.
but mix that in with a lot of like rock, metal, hardcore. I like I said, I listen to a whole range of stuff between rap, hip hop, jazz. I was just listening to an old Miles Davis record the other day. So yeah, I draw influences from pretty much everywhere.
Can't go wrong with the classics. How did your time in All My Sins and Once Beloved prepare you to be a part of Hero and the Hair Horror?
So All My Sins was one of those bands I was looking to start playing out, and I saw these guys in Springfield, Mass, where we're from, and they were playing at a local club, and they were looking for another guitar player. So I ended up trying out for them, and ended up, and they wanted to get more Mass gigs, and I knew a lot of people in Mass putting on shows and a lot of the clubs up here, so I was able to get a lot of playing experience with that band. And then Once Beloved was kind of like the band that it was a ground up project that I had started with a friend of mine, and a couple guys I went to high school, and a couple guys I went to high school with, and that was like my first real like ground up band that actually was out playing shows and being active. But this was way before social media was popular, and things like you go out to shows and you hand pass flyers and you know stuff like that. So
Exactly, the old school, the more original style of promoting.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
exactly. Didn't have
A
all
lot, a lot,
the
a lot
bells
more
and whistles.
personal, I guess, way of shamelessly self promoting everywhere you go.
Nice. Well, going back to 2015, how did Hero and the Horror start?
Actually, it was around like 2016. I was talking to a friend of mine who put me in contact with another our old guitar player who was looking to do a project, and he and I started jamming. I was also talking to another friend who was in another project with our drummer Sam, and that wasn't really panning out to how they wanted it. I asked those guys to come down and jam with us. And our guitar player at the time, he was talking to Slow, our bass player, and had him come down, and we just kind of rolled with that. The first singer we rolled with didn't really pan out, and Sam, our drummer, is actually childhood friends with our singer Dean, and he was saying, "Hey, my friend Dean might be available." So Dean came down, and Dean was one of those guys that came down and scat all over the music we had been working on at the time. Uh, and John and I, or Slow and I, looked at each other and we're like, "This is amazing," you know. He just had a good ear and a good sense of what we wanted to do musically. So we asked him to come back, and it just kind of rolled from there. From like 2017 on, we pretty much spent a year writing music, and then played our first show in 2018.
Nice. And then, of course, starting off with that EP, Chapter One. Tell us about those 3 tracks.
So those were some of the early Hero in the Horror tracks that we had written. We had written those with our original first guitar player, and we wanted to kind of release something. And so we had a friend down in New York City who had a studio. We teamed up with him, and just wanted to release 3 tracks as like a mini EP, kind of put it out there, see how it felt, and things like that. And we just kind of kept rolling from there.
Oh, definitely. I was going to say, shoot, with that, you end up working with a great producer on that one, or engineer, Grammy-winning Jo LaPorta from
Yep.
Sterling Sound.
Yep.
How great was it to
Yes.
work with him?
Well, I mean, we kind of like worked with him kind of like in a removed basis. I'm not sure how it was, but Kia Eshke, who produced Chapter One and our newest full length, he got connected with him, and we were looking for someone to master the EP. And I don't know how he got connected with it. I just know that he's like, "Hey, Jo LaPorta accepted to master the EP," and we're like, "Oh,
Oh,
okay."
wow. Yeah.
So we just kind of went with it, and we're like, "All right, let's do it." We'll see what happens, and um, yeah.
In your song, When They See Us, what is the protagonist guilty of?
Well, I don't think it's anything in relation to. I guess it could be a lot of Dean's lyrics can be metaphorical. You can apply them to a lot of different scenarios. Um, I that's you can apply those to different scenarios depending on who's listening to the record at the time. You know, um,
So it's intentionally vague.
yes, it's intentionally vague.
How great has it been working with Salt of the Earth Records?
Those guys are great. Honestly, Scott is a really awesome guy. He's one of the most excited dudes I've ever met. And he's so amped from the first time we met them, which was a little over a year ago now. They started coming out to some of the shows we were on, and they have a great work ethic. The label seems to be like a family run business. He even has his kids involved, sending out uh, or orders and everything like that. His wife Christy is also great. I've seen her help out running bands on the label's merch tables at shows, and they're just a great supporter of all their bands from all over the U.S. And they try to make it out and to all of the shows they can. They're just great to work with.
That is so cool. that when you can work with somebody who really cares about your band and really wants them to succeed. So it sounds like Salt of the Earth Records is definitely one that other artists should consider as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We just kind of needed a little push as far as a stepping stone to, um, use in as far as like their network of people that they work with, and we just kind of wanted to take the next step in our evolution as a band, and working with them just made total sense.
Definitely. And then prior to your album Old Ghost, I understand you wrote, gosh, over 2 dozen songs. Um, those that didn't make the album, do you plan on maybe using those in the future for other things?
Yeah. We kind of funny. So this record it's been pretty much done since September. We were just kind of looking for um a good release schedule to release the record where there wasn't going to be a lot of interference with other things, whether it be, marketing wise and promotionally and things like that. So we religiously write music all the time. I would say we have about another half records full of material on deck that we're currently fine tuning and working on, for a second record or maybe another EP or something of that nature.
Nice. So, am I correct in saying today is the big day that the Old Ghost drops?
Yes, today is the big day. It's live. It's available on anywhere you consume music, all digital streaming media platforms. It's available through saltoftheearthrecords.com. It'll be available in stores. It'll be available at our merch table. Be available on our merch store as well.
And then with that album, I understand that you chose for your first single and to be the first track on the album, "On Fire." Why did you choose that to have both of those distinctions?
So I think coming out with "On Fire," it's a fast and heavy song right from the bat. We wanted to kind of come out swinging, because we've been kind of between COVID and everything, kind of like putting a halt to things, and then getting everything for this record lined up. We wanted to come out the gate swinging, so we wanted a fast, heavy song to kind of show the sense of urgency that we felt in getting this record out. And we released that single back in the end of October, early November. And then we released Strength of a God a few weeks ago as the second single to kind of show another side of the band and show people that the entire record isn't going to be exactly like On Fire.
Mhm.
So we wanted to show some versatility and the dynamicness of the record and the difference in all the songs that will be on it.
That's the thing I really do like about your Old Ghost. I really feel the album is very diverse. It's, some bands you listen to and it's all just they do one thing and that's all they do, where you guys give more of a mix. Was that intentional?
I don't know if it was intentional. I just know that technically we really write music that we would want to hear. We write with a lot of feeling behind it. Um, Sometimes there's some moodiness, sometimes there's some urgency. Uh, we wanted to write songs and we didn't want to be confined into a box. And I think a lot of our music comes out that way is you can't really pigeonhole the record because it's different song through song, um, that way.
Is it also because you wanted to be able to display a wide variety of emotions as well in your music?
I think, yeah, that was part of the case. I think you know, a lot of it came down to it just kind of it was kind of happenstance. that the record is as diverse as it is, but it also, because it's so diverse, you can market it to a wider range of crowd and people.
Definitely. I was going to say it's always good to have options and shoot the more folks that you can get listening to your music. You definitely can't go wrong with that.
Agreed.
Well, Phil, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today. We have enjoyed talking about your new album, Old Ghost, which drops today, and we are excited about that. Before we let you go, where on social media, where on the web, where can our listeners find out more about you?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all pretty much all the major socials. HeroInTheHorror.com. We're on Spotify, YouTube, all the streaming platforms. You can even just Google us, and we'll show up in your Google searches right at the top. We're there. We're active.
That is awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.